Good morning, ma'am, honorary principal, my fellow guests, teachers, and my lovely students. My Gen Z and Gen Alpha. You know what I'm talking about? Yes, you are Gen Z and Gen Alpha, and the sandwich in between us who are born are known as Gen Alpha. Sounds good, right? Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the book that is written and experiences in the journey I've gone through, experiencing and recovering, rediscovering myself. Like myself, many other teachers and parents who are of my age and my generation who would be benefited in understanding this concept of reverse psychology in parenting. Parenting doesn't only mean to be a parent, a father and a mother. I guess before parent, the teachers are the first parents in school, isn't it? So our teachers and our parents both should know what is known as reverse psychology in parenting. This journey is a little different, okay? So we start from here. I am a Gen X, where your teachers, where your parents are born. Okay? Let me take you to the journey of all the generations. First comes the great generation. Then comes the silent generation. Your great grandfather, your grandfather. Okay? Then comes the baby boomers. Your parents? No, your grandfathers, my parents. Then comes the Generation X. That's your teachers, your parents, and my generation. And then the millennials. And then comes the Gen Z. You, Gen Alpha. In between them, Gen Alpha. After Alpha comes Beta, Theta, and so on. Are you aware of these kind of generation names? Heard about them? Right. So let us understand what is reverse psychology. When we grew up as children, that is Gen Z, okay, we were a little differently nurtured, controlled, and differently brought up. Okay? Now, how was the bringing up? For instance, when I was born, I was a little different. I was born a Gen X in Gen Z generation. Can you imagine the kind of complexities? It was whenever the work was done, the study was done, the curiosity was always critiqued. Aren't you too fast? Aren't you different? Why are you like this? Or, why do you do so many things at the same time? How do you think like this? It's out of the box. That's how you are, the most intelligent, tech-savvy, and brilliant generation, Gen X. So, how do you use your power? Your power of intelligence, your power of acceptance, your power of adaptability, your power of resilience, your power of understanding, and the most important thing, your power of sustainability. In course of all the generations, we've enjoyed everything around us. We means my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and so on till me, have enjoyed everything around us, the nature, the food, the surrounding, the environment, the weather, everything we've enjoyed. But in course of time, when it came close to Gen X, that's my generation, we realized that we've exhausted with our resources, which is around us, because we never knew how important it is to all of us that we need to really sustain this. unfortunately, your generation faced it. The lessening of resources, the emptiness of surrounding, the things that is missing in your surrounding which we enjoyed. And there came this generation, Gen Z, which became more disciplined, more accepting, that we need to be more sustainable about what is around us and regain our resources. So thanks to you. This generated my thought of accepting the fact that reverse parenting is a very important thing with parents and teachers around us to understand how we can bring in a balance between two generations. Why should we bring in a balance in between two generations? It's necessary because one side there is heavy energy flowing. Shouldn't go flow, which is a waste. That is your energy. And one side, we've lost the energy which we had. Now, we bring it together, the two generations, and put these energies together and make it anew. Then came the thought of writing this book, How I Was Raised by My Two Sons. So when I grew up, as I told you, I was a wrong one born, a Gen Z mentality in a Gen X generation. So when my children came in, okay, that is the time I realized that your generation is different. And I came with a perfect mindset to be the perfect parent, like you all have parents and teachers, to be complete perfect, okay? That is a time when realization just strikes. In a second, when you realize that Gen Z thinks exactly in a different manner, which is filling in gap. If we do not fill in this particular gap, then there is a generation gap coming up, which I'm sure your parents and your grandparents. Can you hear me? Okay, great. Sorry for that disturbance. But yeah, so Gen Z, what is the problem with Gen X and Gen Z? The problem is not anywhere. It is only that we have to bring in a balance in both of them. When did it start and how did it start? It started with an understanding being a perfect parent. When we become a perfect parent and a perfect teacher, we understand that we feel that we control. We tend to take everything in our hands and we want it to be perfect. When it started with this thought, many thoughts came into my mind and many experiences that was a part of this journey. The journey went in such a torrid way. It was a roller coaster because it's very difficult for Gen X to accept anything that is new. As a parent, I used to always feel, no, I think I'm right. I'm right. We had discussions, we had arguments, and I always used to feel an argument is thoughtfully spoken and it has to finish with a proper conclusion. My children came and told me, you needn't be so perfect every time. Be a good listener. You're always thinking about what to speak next. You aren't thinking about what you're listening to. You aren't listening at all. At that moment of time, you realize, oh, we've not been listening. We are just trying to speak things. The next moment was when I was with my children and my children told me that at times you have to be tuned with the AI, with the new technology, which is very difficult for our generation to understand. When I was doing my studies in mid-age, it is difficult, right? Children of your age came in and told me, learn this technology. It's easy, fast.
time for us to accept this fact, but yes, it is necessary to build a bridge. Third place is the word sorry. You know, sorry is a very, very important thing, and we do not realize how important is sorry when a Gen X makes a mistake and says, oh, I don't think this is right, but I'm not sure about it. When you aren't sure is the time you have to be. Coming down to the point of accepting how you are and what you're doing, it's a sorry. So, in reverse parenting or reverse psychology in parenting, it is important to understand that the next generation is faster, is brilliant, and it is intellectual. And in that intense generation, how are we going to build in this gap? The gap is simple. It has to be a lot of resilience, a lot of adaptability, a lot of flexibility, not in the Gen Z, but in Gen X. We as parents, we as teachers have to understand that the next generation and the generation next and the generation next up to theta and so on are going to be more tech savvy, more brilliant, more resilient, more adaptable, more flexible as they grow. And with that, we have to pace up. And pacing up is not degrading. Pacing up is balance. And that balance will only come if we accept the facts. So, Gen Z and Zalfas who are in front of me, you know yourself better. You have made us as parents understand you better. Let us bring in that kind of a balance. As you are so tuned with today's world, why not educate your parents also? As teachers, I think, I have been a teacher, a trainer, and a professor for years together. But believe me, this very thought of building in generation gap has brought in a lot of bonding between me and my students. And that is full thanks for my children who have actually taught me to be what I am. Today, discovering that I can do a lot. I can achieve a lot. I can do things which your generation can do at this stage is just because thanks to your generation. It cannot be one way, right? So, reverse parenting means to understand this gap and fill in on both the sides. It is not from one side that we give it. Reverse parenting also means building up a stronger bond, relationship, which is one thing is missing in your generation. The value for relationships, the value for understanding who and what is important to us. And that, of course, you can learn it from your parents and your teachers. So it's a give and take relationship, right? All these things are not mere words. They are a part and parcel of your life. And both, as generations grow, as you grow up, the next generation comes, I think we all should learn to accept the fact that every generation brings in something new. And accepting makes it easier and makes us grow together. So, I want to end this up with a very beautiful note. When I was in a stage where I have accomplished what I could accomplish at an age which could not be possible, easily said, there was one statement from my son, that is from your generation. He said, you know something, you've been my best friend and a very good guide. But I should say, you've been my best student also. That was something that really moved me and touched me and even boosted me to learn more from you all. So cheers to your generation. Make the full use of your status in this presence and bringing the broad bond stronger with your teachers, your mentors, your guides, your parents, and your peers. I end this note with a lot of hope for bringing in balance in both generations and many more generations to come forward. It's just a simple word of acceptance. So let us keep the generations apart, but acceptance, free flow, and bring in a lot of change and optimism in everything that we see in our journey ahead. Thank you so much.